Salut les amis! Hi friends, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. Je m'appelle Maddie. My name is Maddie. Today we're going to be attempting to make croissants if you're white and American like me. I apologize for my not so great attempt at speaking French. Something I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit before we get into today's croissant making video. I want to thank today's sponsor, which is Babbel. Babbel is the #1 language learning app in the world with over 10 million subscriptions worldwide. Unlike a lot of the other language learning apps, Babbel has 0 ads. Babbel's sole focus is to help you guys learn new languages, not suck up your time with ad impressions. Babbel prepares you for situations that you will actually encounter in real life. I took a little bit of French in high school and feel like I learned literally nothing, but the few courses I've taken on Babbel, I feel like I've already learned more, and things that I will actually use and want to know, like food. I just started taking the French cuisine course, which is perfect for this video and just perfect for me in general because this is something that I'm actually interested in. Hopefully, once everything is safe, I can travel more, and obviously I'm gonna go back to Paris. I am obsessed with French food, and this is gonna help me a lot in preparing myself for going to France and actually being able to speak to people properly. I also feel like we all have so much extra time on our hands, and learning a new language is such a great way to disconnect from like social media and all of that and really just improve yourself. Each lesson is like 10 to 15 minutes long, and it honestly feels like you're playing a game. They have all different levels of learning, so if you just need to brush up, they have more courses on that. They also have courses on countries and traditions, specials, words and sentences. I mean, this is like honestly the best language app I have ever used. They even have a section with podcasts in the language you're learning. So this is like a beginner French podcast, which is great. Thank you again to Babbel for partnering with me on this video. And if you guys want to check it out, the link is in my description. You can get up to 65% off your Babbel subscription. Without further ado, here comes the video of me attempting to make croissants for the very first time. So we're starting the night before by making our dough. I'm taking 500 grams of bread flour, 55 grams of sugar, and 10 grams of kosher salt, and putting that on the mixer while we make our yeast concoction. I'm taking 150 grams of water and 150 grams of milk. Make sure this is around 80 to 100 degrees Fahrenheit. And I'm adding in 1 packet or 8 grams of instant yeast. Adding that into our flour along with 100 grams of softened European butter. We're mixing on 1 for 2 minutes and then turning up to 2 for 7 minutes. You should be left with a smooth, beautiful looking dough, which we're going to cover and let rest for 1 hour and 30 to 2 hours. Meanwhile, we're going to make our barrage, which is like a flat square of butter, basically. I ended up replacing this parchment, but bear with me. I'm using 250 grams of European butter. The butter quality is very important in this because it is pretty much the main ingredient. So I'm rolling my butter in this rectangle of parchment until it reaches the edges and you have a nice, even, thin layer of butter, or a barrage. Now here's our dough once it's rested, and we're going to just plop it out and shape it into a rectangle for us to refrigerate overnight. So now here we are the next morning. We're going to roll out our dough into a 40 by 40 centimeter square, I guess. I mean, give or take a centimeter or two. I followed quite a few different recipes and just kind of, you know, tried to do my own thing, but also referred back to a bunch. So I'm gonna leave all the links in the description to all the videos that I referenced for this. I'm folding it over a piece of parchment so it doesn't stick to itself, and then we're going to wrap and refrigerate for 30 minutes. It's very important
for everything to be cold when you're making croissants. As we put this in the fridge, we're going to remove our butter. We want it to be cold, but we also want it to be a bit pliable because you don't want your butter to like crack and break when you're doing this. Now we're folding our dough over our butter, and I'm trimming the edges because I think I rolled my dough out a little too much. And then we're tapping the butter in so it gets to all of the corners. And we're attempting to do our first fold. I made some trims just to make sure everything was like pretty square and even. I'm folding 2 halves into the middle, and then I'm doing, I think, what is called a book fold. Honestly, you could see me throw my hands up like I don't know what I'm doing, and then I'm tapping the butter in once more. I am no pastry chef, guys, okay? I just wanted to pop in and do a little update in this video. I feel like I'll probably do this a couple of times throughout this process, but I just did the first fold and it's chilling. And I just wanted to say that I'm very stressed about this, and I feel like I'm doing it all wrong, but we shall see how it turns out. And if it's a complete disaster, I guess I will just start from the beginning, but this is a journey that I'm bringing you guys along on. All right, time for our second fold. I'm rolling this out once again. It got a little long on me and not as wide as I wanted it to be, but you know, it's our first time. Trial and error, baby, okay? We're on this journey together. Please leave any tips in the description. This is by no means me claiming that I have any clue what I'm doing, but we're rolling it out and we're doing our second fold. I'm folding it in thirds this time, and again, tapping it to seal it and refrigerating again.
I just finished the second fold, returned it to the fridge. It's gonna chill in there for like 45-ish minutes. We're gonna take it out for the final fold or turn, and then it'll go back in the fridge for probably another like 45-minute. Croissant making is so specific, but also everybody, I feel like, does it differently. So I'm just trying to figure out what works for me. So yeah, we'll do a final turn, rest it, and then we'll take it out, roll it again, and then shape our croissants, proof them, and then they'll be ready to bake. So right now it's 10:20. I'm hoping these croissants will be done around 2 to 2:30.
All right, our final fold into thirds once more until you have this beautiful little rectangle of dough.
I just did the final turn. I was feeling not very confident at all. And then I trimmed a little piece off and I looked at it and there were definitely some solid layers. I'll insert the photo of the little scrap that I tested. Now I'm feeling a little more confident, to be honest, but I'm not gonna get ahead of myself because it could still fail. I just attempted to roll out the dough and I think the gluten is a little tight still, so I'm gonna pop it back in the fridge for 30 more minutes and then we're gonna try to roll it out and shape the croissants.
As you just heard and saw, I tried to roll my dough out, but the gluten was still a little tight, so I let it rest a little bit longer. So I'm rolling it out into as even of a square / rectangle that I could get it. Again, I probably should have continued to let this dough rest a little more because it was resisting me, but I did it anyways. By the time I got a pretty decent sized rectangle, I wanted to trim it to make it like as even as possible. I was using a ruler this whole time and trying my best to measure it out. Now I'm scoring the dough in increments of 10 centimeters on the bottom and then 10 centimeters on the top, but starting at a 5 centimeter offset. This recipe made about 6 croissants, and one of them was a little small, but I think that was my fault because I did not really cut the triangles very evenly. One thing I know for sure, make sure you like have the seam, the little tail on the bottom, and you tuck it, or else when you bake them, they're gonna come unrolled and that will not be a fun time for you. We're letting them proof in an oven that is turned off but has the light on for 2 hours. Here's what they look like post-proof. You can definitely see some layering there. And now I'm baking at 375 for 30 minutes. I think if I do it again, I will do it at 400 for probably 20 minutes. But here they are. Gorgeously brown, decent shape, and some decent layers, if I do say so myself. Here's my croissant. I wouldn't say it's perfect by any means, but for my first try, I feel like not that bad. We've got a nice brown bottom. We've got decent layering. It's gonna taste good regardless because it's butter and flour. And that's pretty much it. I think I can give this like a nice 7 out of 10. It's pretty delicious. That is all for today's video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know down below if you've made croissants before, if you have any tips, because like I said, this was my very first time doing it, and it definitely won't be the last. It was a tad stressful, but honestly really fun, and I was pretty happy with the outcome for my very first try. And don't forget to check out Babbel. The link is in my description. You can get up to 65% off your Babbel subscription. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you in my next one. Au revoir!